Today on the pod,
Phillip Johnson-Richardson.
Currently in Hell's Kitchen on Broadway.
Formerly made of tin in The Wiz on Broadway.
And releasing music under the name Phil.
Period.
How much are you investing right now just to get things up?
I've put so much money in this. And I was working at Costco and I was like, if I don't book something that changes my life this next year, I am going to quit the industry. And I realized like people just be talking shit.
Yeah, no. I never believed them.
And I'm at the point where like I had somebody tell me for a workshop that I did in 2022, oh my God, you're gonna win a Tony Award for this role. Then they couldn't even offer me a contract when I had booked this other show that I was like, okay, give me a retainer, offer me a contract,
right.
And then I can actually have the conversation if I'm gonna drop this other show and do your show.
Right.
Bitch, don't tell me I'm gonna win a Tony Award. I actually went back to school recently too.
I remember you telling me that.
It was actually like
it was nice.
But I have a problem with authority. So like my whole thing is that like I've developed this thing where when I'm talking to anyone that's younger than me and they're like, I look up to you, I'm like, hey bro, this is my experience. I'm just gonna share it with you.
Yeah.
And if you can take anything from it, that's fine. And if you can't, that is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Were you really like honest with them and open with them when you talked?
I was so honest. I was.
Did you were faculty in the room or was it just you?
It was me. Vince was interviewing me basically.
Okay.
And Diane like came in and she had to go like teach a class, but it was some donors in the back too.
Uh-oh.
I was like, yeah man, fuck all this shit. This shit is whack as fuck. Da da da. And they were like, right. But they all came up to me after like, thank you for being so real about everything. And I was like, yeah, I don't really like when people like lie. It's like I'm like, no bro, this shit sucks. Like it's cool when it's cool, but when it sucks, it's like the most down bad I've ever been.
Yeah.
I've been broke. I've had to like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with serving pizza, but I've had to serve pizza for like 8 months.
No, I mean, of course, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's like that's not really what you.
It's not what I signed up. I didn't
what
pay
you showed up
$40,000
for.
a fucking year to fucking serve pizza, bro. Like,
yeah.
But that's like a part of the gig, like, and specifically when you want to be I've been pretty specific about shows and things that I've done, and like saying I've said no to a lot of shit. So it's like, all right, bro, go work at a pizza spot, go work at elsewhere, go work at like a brunch spot.
Yeah, and not like getting down on yourself is really hard. Like not
it's
like
impossible.
I think it is impossible actually.
Yeah, it's impossible.
But riding the waves of like being like I literally played Madison Square Garden with Fall Out Boy, and then I went to work the next day.
You're like, welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?
Can I take your order? And, like,
with the hat on too.
I'm like not kidding. Like I was like checking
You're
this
like,
girl
would you like
out.
to buy a stand?
You're right.
I was like scanning whatever like fucking candles this girl was buying that I also like can't afford. Like she had like bought like $60 worth of candles, which I was like go off, but also I was like sitting there whatever, and she's like, this is so weird, but like, are you in Daisy Grenade? Like, did you guys sing last night at MSG? Like, I was there, and I was like, your total is $43.77. I was literally it was so fucking demoralizing in like such a real way where I was like, and I was so like on cloud nine at that point that I was like just trying to like not let it bother me, but I was like, that is like literally embarrassing.
It's not embarrassing. I think social media has. I can only speak for myself.
No.
Social media has people fucked up, and it has me fucked up because I've had the same thing. I booked The Wiz, and I had also like done this TV show called Little Voice.
Yeah.
Back in like 2019, it came out in 2020.
Yeah.
And after that, like, I had to like work at like a regular job, like serving people, serving brunch, and I did get recognized one time at like.
And you're like, kill myself.
No,
yeah.
I had a friend who had something like this too, where she filmed a series of little things for Netflix, and it was in like maybe 2019, 2018 when she filmed it, and it was in production, and then it got delayed because of the pandemic. And so by the time it came out, it's like 2021. She's working as like a host at a restaurant, and she goes from like not really having any like major credits to suddenly like she gained like 400,000 followers like in 2 weeks being on this Netflix thing. But she's working as a host at this restaurant, so now people are coming in being like, oh my god,
hey.
you're on Netflix right now, like the front page of Netflix.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, that money's gone.
Yeah.
Like that money was spent in 2019.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, right.
Your
cool.
friend's coming late? Okay, great.
Sick.
Yeah.
I can't seat you until we're
yeah, literally,
you know what I mean?
bad.
That shit is it is so real, and it's like it is. I do think if we didn't have social media, there would be there would be no sort of like, at least not as much an idea of like who you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to be. Like I also
think it's like no reflection on the artist. Like it never is. It's a reflection of the like whenever someone recognized me at work, and unfortunately, like, it's in the middle of Brooklyn, which is like where a lot of our fan base is, so it happens like pretty often. And I like always, I'm like, yep, this is the reality. Like I'm like not trying to hide it or like act more famous or rich than I am, because I'm like, yeah, I work here. Yeah. Like this is what I have to do, and if I don't do it, like the music that you like won't happen.
Yeah. So like, what about that, bro?
Yeah. What about that?
So
it's so indicative of like the power dynamic being all fucked, and like the structure of all of entertainment, really, like every entertainment industry just being so top heavy in the way that all of the money streams all the way up there. And until you are like massive, like
you have to have a support job.
I know people that like are bigger than us and tour, and they have had to start like one of their priorities was like, I'm thinking of one band specifically, and I won't name them, but like
Just
they
name their
names. No, I love them, and I think this is actually like just a really interesting thing, is that a priority of theirs was being able to take home money from tour, right? And at like mid-level touring, like that's pretty rare. So you have to be really, really careful about how you do it, what you take, you know, whatever, because a lot of those offers are not good. Like you're gonna lose money. It's like normal to lose money for like the first 2 years of like mid-level touring. But their priority was so that they could quit their jobs. But they have had to turn down a lot of fucking opportunities because they just can't make it work. And they're like, it's a priority to me to not have to go serve coffee in the morning at 5 o'clock so that I can make this work. But that affects their ability to take certain opportunities, which like sucks. So it's like always this like balancing act of like having to do it. And then also on top of that, being like the only place you can live if you want to do these things are LA and New York, and they happen to be the most expensive cities in the entire fucking country.
You didn't mention San Francisco.
Oh, San Francisco too.
I just want to talk
but it's also like,
but
also like you can't really like, I mean, I guess you could probably live in San Francisco, but like
I was joking. I just wanted to talk about
I'm like, no, you can't really. I don't think.
It's not.
Also,
it's
where
not
Peter's from San Francisco, I'm from Seattle. Also, massively fucking expensive cities to live in. Like, there's like you can't like go unless you're like so fucking famous and you're producing all your own shit and people come to you. You can't like go live in like Little Rock, Arkansas, and buy a house for $300,000 and like
you. Yeah, you probably can't.
But it also comes down to like, because I've been dealing with this lately. I know that if I picked up, like we were talking earlier, I used to work at that theater. If I picked up weekend shifts at that theater again, then even that additional like $400 a week or whatever it would probably be the difference in me. Like I'm like breaking even right now and able to do a lot of the creative shit I want to do. But I'm not like really making or saving a bunch of money. And that would be the difference in me being able to be like, okay, I'm saving money. I'm
right.
like 100% net positive every month. But
yeah, I mean,
it takes away like half of the flexibility that allows me to like be editing this podcast on the side or doing like any of the other creative things I want to do or have a life
whatever
at
you're
all.
doing. If someone's like, hey, do you want to come do this thing? And you can just be like, yeah, I will. Versus being like, oh, fuck, I have to get my shift covered and I have to like, oh, I'm going to lose my job and whatever. I have that situation happen to me like every time I leave for tour where I'm like, they're gonna fire me. It's actually a fucking miracle. I say this every time I bring it up. It's a fucking miracle they haven't yet. Every time I'm like, hey, I'm gonna leave for 6 weeks, they're like, okay, girl, slay. I'm like, okay.
Like, all right.
Like I'm actually the biggest fan of Days of Grenade.
See you in December. They're like, okay, girl. So yeah, it's a balancing act and it's not a fun one.
It's not at all. I was working at Costco in the Bay Area, in Mountain View.
Oh, right. I've been to that
Mountain
Costco.
View.
Yeah, that's where I used to. So I used to go to East Palo Alto a lot when I was a kid. My great grandmother used to take me to Costco, a lot. So at the time, I was supposed to do this show. I did this show in the Bay Area. I was supposed to stay in there for a little bit with my family and then go to LA and then do the show in La Jolla the next year. That's actually on Broadway now. Ended up fucking my back up. My back was fucked up, but I ended up like re-fucking it up, and it was so bad. I remember I had to drop out of the show because it was a super physical show. I said fuck, and it was a pre-Broadway show. I was gonna go with it. Dropped out of it, and I was like, all right, cool. I found out about the Wiz, and I was working at Costco, and I was like, if I don't book something that changes my life this next year, I am going to quit the industry because it was so like draining. And like, again, no diss to like Costco workers, but I was pushing baskets and shit like that, and they're like talking to me like, hey, can you go get this? You have a 12-minute break. What the fuck do you mean I have a 12? I'm an actor. I'm an artist. I'm the coldest actor. Like, what do you, and I would tell people I'm an actor. They're like, all right, man. Like, no, I'm like, no. Like,
I'm like a real.
Yeah, I've like done things. They're like, sure you have, buddy. I'm like, I'll kill myself. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So I would kill myself in this costume.
In this Costco and like fuck everybody.
Clean up on aisle 4.
Yeah.
Right?
Now everybody's mad.
Everybody's
Everybody's fucking pissed off. But no, I was working there and like I ended up auditioning for The Wiz like, you know, a few months down the line. And I ended up booking it. But because after I booked it, I booked it in the end of February, and then I ended up like the first workshop was in May, and we didn't start touring until August. So I like had to have a job still, and like that was the pizza shop job, and so just it's been like that is like just it's the gig, bro. It's like
it really is, and it's like you do have to just figure out how to make it work, and it just can be so fucking demoralizing, and social media does, I think, play a huge role into that, which is like just seeing other people, and people do a really fucking good job in making it look like it's not hard for them. Like,
oh yeah,
like,
or making it look like it's hard for them when their apartment is paid for.
Yeah, that's worse.
And like
That
that's the other shit that gets me, because I know a couple people where I'm like, they're cosplaying as a struggling artist right now in an apartment their parents paid for that they own.
Yeah, I know a few
like,
of those. I know a lot of those actually.
And
I've seen that before.
like to each their own. Like I'm not judging anyone from where they come from, but if you're gonna fake what you're actually dealing with, well, so many people are on the other end just like fucking struggling to make it through.
Totally. I completely
Also,
agree.
most people are struggling.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you if you're comfortable talking about it. I know you had like a couple things lined up that looked like they were going to be on Broadway and they sort of didn't happen. And I'm wondering kind of like how, and now you've had 2 Broadway shows under your belt in the last, like 8 months? Yeah. So it's like, I wonder, like, I kind of want to know where those 2 things, and you don't have to name them if you don't want to, but just where those projects that you thought were going to take you where you wanted to go, not happening, like how that made you feel. Did you think about quitting? Like,
yes.
Yeah. word.
Absolutely. I've quit a few times. Like I've actually like been like, hey bro, like it's over. I told my team like, hey, like they were like, we're just gonna take a break. I said, no, I quit. They were like, all right, it's a break. They didn't believe me. I didn't believe myself. But I've done a few things that one I can name. I don't really care about it anymore.
Yeah.
I did this workshop right after I left Hamilton in 2019. I went to do Magic Mike the musical. And it was
and you were playing like
I was playing Mike.
Yeah.
And I was 23 at the time.
Yeah, it was super early.
Very early.
Because you went straight out of college into Hamilton, right?
Straight out of college. I did 1 month in the city.
And then you went to Chicago?
Yeah.
Oh, and that was the sit down production, right?
Yeah.
Sit down. It was technically a tour, but it was a sit down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then I came back to the city and I was like gonna audition for Magic Mike, and I was like, all right, bro, this is fucking weird. Like they're doing a musical of Magic Mike. That's crazy. They were like, just go in and do it. And I went in a book, and then it just got canceled. Like we were doing the workshop. We were like a week into the workshop, and then it got
canceled in the middle of the workshop.
We didn't even get to perform the actual workshop. Which
Wait,
is like,
that's crazy.
Did
I don't know if
pull their funding or what happened?
I don't know what happened. They never told me for real. They were like
crazy.
I've heard like a few stories of what happened, but they never actually told me, which I kind of am great. I'm happy they didn't tell me, because I think I would have fucking crashed. Like I would have been like,
and that also was like headed straight for Broadway. So you were like, I'm about to play a lead on Broadway and I'm 23 years old. Yeah.
It was supposed to go it was like, this is the last workshop before we go to Boston, which at the ART or something like that, and then we go to Broadway after that. And it was
like they were booked, ready to go.
Yeah.
But it's also crazy mid-workshop to cancel, because it's one thing to be like, we're supposed to go to Boston, we canceled that production. It's another thing to be like halfway through.
Just kidding, you're done. Everybody get the fuck out.
That's exactly how it happened too. We were sitting there. They called us. So what happened was they called us a late, or they canceled one rehearsal. And I was like, oh, sick, like a day off. And then they were like, the next day they were like, come in at this time. It was like 1 p.m. or some shit like that. And
all of you guys.
Everybody.
Yeah,
they were like, weird. Come in. And I was like,
you're like,
but I didn't realize it because I was so on cloud nine. I'm like, oh, this shit is about to change my life. I'm about to be a fucking lead on Broadway. And not even a lead. Like I was like, I'm
playing
to
the
be
title character.
a titular character in like a commercially produced.
Like you'll be like billed above the title, likely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
totally.
I was so at the
massive
time in my head, I'm like, oh, I get to like pair this, because I've been making music forever. I was like, I get to pair this with music and shit like that, even though my music was really bad at the time. So
did you say your music was really bad at the time?
So bad. I've like listened to my music and I'm like, I'm so glad that I'm neurotic about shit, because like I only strive to get better, and it was so bad at a certain point.
So
like there were elements of it that were really good. Like I think sometimes it was like the flow was really good, sometimes lyricism was really good, but only elements. Now I'm like, I feel it. Like
now you feel like you got it.
Yeah. So I wasn't ready, but gonna be a star on Broadway. And then they pulled us in and they were like, hey bro, this
how they
canceled.
said it. Hey bro, this is canceled.
Hey, bro.
The producers.
They said the workshop
guys.
is canceled indefinitely, and I was like, I was like, what'd you say? They were like,
That's crazy.
It's done. I was like, that's weird. What do you guys mean it's done? They're like, no, like go home. So we all got fucked up, and then I
like you drank alcohol.
Yeah, oh
yeah. Okay, I thought you meant like you were just fucked up emotionally.
Oh no,
you got,
we
like,
drank a lot of liquor.
Yeah.
We went to a bar, and then we went to my friend John's house, and then we kind of just sat. And then there was a point where we were like, oh my god, this is so fun. I was like, wait.
No, we're here because we just all lost our jobs.
Yeah, we just all lost our jobs. So
Did they make you sign contracts for ART and Broadway as well?
No, so the way the contract was built was like they also there's this thing in like theater, or not just in the entertainment industry, that people build you up and they're like, oh, we're gonna do all this shit.
Yeah, of course.
And I realized like people just be talking shit.
Yeah, no, I never believed them.
And I'm at the point where like I had somebody tell me for a workshop that I did in 2022, I'm like, are you gonna go win a Tony Award for this role? And then then they couldn't even offer me a contract when I had booked this other show that I was like, okay, give me a retainer, offer me a contract,
right? And
then I can actually have the conversation if I'm gonna drop this other show and do your show,
right?
Bitch, don't tell me I'm gonna win a Tony Award.
I'm not kidding you. I went down to Philadelphia, or not Philadelphia, like Lancaster, Pennsylvania, like 2 years ago to go do a donor event for a Broadway show, like to go sing songs from the show. It's a new Frank Wildhorn show. Go sing songs from the show. I had never played the role that I was singing, which was the lead, because they always had like a name, and I was always playing like her younger sister, who I think was like 9 years old, and I was like 24, and I was like, okay, but they asked me to sing it, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Donors, like producers, are coming up to me being like, you have to play this part, like you have to play this, like you're same thing, you're gonna win a Tony for this word. I'm like, first of all, never played it in any of the workshops, and second of all, I don't even know if they didn't ask me to do the last workshop of this. Like I wasn't even called in for like the ensemble, and I have not done it since. And I'm like, I don't know if it's happening or what is happening. And obviously I don't really have time, which is cunty. But I'm like, people are just.
You gotta start telling people to eat your ass.
Okay,
like, hey, bro, eat my ass. Like, stop giving me, like, if you want to give me bullshit, eat my ass.
I've started to be like, when people are shitty to me on the internet, I just want to respond. Like, I won't do it because people will get mad at me, but I want to just respond, eat a dick, loser.
Yeah, eat a fat
I'm like,
piece of my ass.
At this point,
the pinkest part of my
just
asshole.
Eat a dick.
Just fucking like suck my ass, bro.
I get that. It's like, it's so, and I think theater is specifically bad with this because nobody really has all of the say in anything. There's not one ever.
But even though I think the thing that's bad about it too, because like you get plenty of bullshit in LA and Hollywood, whatever,
yeah,
but at least on the other end, there's probably a nice payout if it did happen. Like on the theater
like,
side, they're
and
promising all this shit, and they're like,
"Yeah,
you're getting paid nothing. It's gonna be open for 3 weeks."
And I'm gonna run into your ass on a train too.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Like, leave me the fuck. Stop trying, and then don't try to not see me on the train. Now, bitch, I see you. We had a full conversation. Eat my ass, bro.
Literally eat my ass.
No, that's happened, and it happened to me because the show that I ended up not doing. I don't give a fuck. It ended up on the same street as me. There was like a few shows on the same street.
What was it? We can always cut it. Oh, I didn't know that. Magic Mike happened. Happens after that. Or sorry, unnamed show that we're not naming. You can bleep that out. It happened. Was there another instance of this or no?
I did the show Aida.
Oh, that was the other one I was thinking of. Yes.
There was supposed to be this it ended up going to like, I don't know, fucking Germany. I'm not going to fucking
really?
Germany. And they ended up using like all German actors. Which is such a.
But it was supposed to go to Broadway, correct?
It was supposed to go to Paper Mill, then it was supposed to go on tour.
Okay.
And I also found out some other information. I was like, oh, okay. Sick,
oh, you know that meme of the girl going, oh, okay.
Yeah. No, you see the meme. Oh, never mind. Because I feel like it's a very niche. She's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I have seen that. Yes.
No, so. Yeah, I was doing this March of 2020, right before fucking the pandemic.
Yeah. The
I just moved into this fucking apartment in Crown Heights, and I was doing this workshop of Aida, and we were like, yeah, it's 4 days in. Oh
You're fucking
they're like,
joking.
Yeah, bro, we hear about this like fucking, we're like this. We're like, yeah, bro, this is chilling. We hear about, they're like, oh no, this thing in China is going crazy. We're fine. And they're like, it's actually new. We're like, no, we're good. They're like, okay, guys, we have to like stop.
We have to get.
We have to like. It's the fucking. We now know it's fucking COVID. This like changed everyone's life. And I was like, damn, again.
Yeah.
And I had to like tell my team, like my manager, because me and my manager are really close. I had to be like, hey, oh my god, girl, like this is not normal.
You're like, did I do something?
Yeah, is it me?
Yeah.
And also respectfully to, I don't think I talk about it was Camille Brown. I was my second time because Camille was doing Magic Mike and she was doing Aida. So it was our second time. I was like, we're gonna work together someday. And she's like, yeah, for sure. It just was.
She's
so
like, I'm
up.
never bringing you in on anything again. She's like, it's your curse. I'm
It's
sorry,
you, bro.
It's you.
And like I had friends who were like, make jokes. People like, yeah, you're the problem. I'm like, yeah, bro, that's like not funny.
Yeah, it's not funny.
You're
Because
like,
not funny
I
at all.
appreciate you making a joke, but stop.
Because I actually think
feel
I'm the
like-
problem. Like, is it? They're like, nah, he's just a fucking.
But also, I think there is something unique to just, even separate from those two experiences, but our generation graduating and then having like a global pandemic and then the biggest like writer and actor strikes in
Ever.
decades. Like,
History, yeah.
just like, so multiple unprecedented work stoppages that just
Not
make
to mention losing, I mean, like the pandemic, like losing not only that time to work, but losing those years, like losing those 2 years.
People like there was like a lot of shit that happened.
What
like,
do you mean?
Like people died.
Oh, yeah. I was like, what? In
We
what
were the
context?
You're like,
Sorry.
wait, that's not funny.
No, it's not funny at all. But
Oh my god.
do you have to cut this?
I'm not cutting this.
No, no, like
No, I know
God
what you
rest in peace. But like,
Wait, no, expand on that, please.
no, it's just all right, bro, it's over.
Look
I'm
at
done.
me.
No, because I can't come back from. I'm just digging.
I'm just like,
It's over with.
no, I do get what you're saying. And it's like, I think to me, like when I think about those, because we all graduated in 2018. So we had like, and the like spring 2018. So we have like a year and a half of like good trying, you know, getting out there
Good
and
attempts.
trying to work
Right.
where everything feels kind of normal and like, you know, whatever. And then 2020 hits and then we have like 2 years of just like absolutely no fucking idea what's going on.
Yeah.
And like no one telling us anything, not to fucking mention the fact that everyone was still paying their fucking equity dues and we don't know where the fuck
But also
all
a lot
that
of
money
these
went.
like parts of the industry, like there were casting offices that just shut down and shuttered. Like one of my agents had just had a kid, so he got a job with the city. He was like,
do this.
I'm not doing this.
And
Like,
nobody had any plan. Nobody was like, okay, well, when we open it up, we're going to do this, like whatever. Like nobody had any fucking plan. So it's like those projects just got
Tough.
shit on. Yeah. So it's just
shelved or
like,
tossed or
I think it's just, yeah, I don't know. We unfortunately like had a really, like we hit it at a really bad fucking time. Like,
But I do think because of that, people have pivoted. Like you started a band.
I'm just kidding. Yes.
I was like, wait, what? Is it?
I'm like, no, I didn't.
Oh, thank you.
No, yeah, no. People
I'm like
have
not
pivoted.
even here. I'm like, oh my god.
People have pivoted and like it was obviously the best thing that could have come out of that for me. And I do think it shook people's perspective of like what they wanted and gave people some time to actually be like, wait, do I like this thing?
Yeah.
You know,
For real.
which is really, I think, great. But like, I don't know, the industry itself has been very different, I think, since then.
Oh, it's like, yeah, I think there's like a sense of like, again, like you said, like, do I like this? Do
Yeah.
I want to do this?
Do I want to do it? Yeah.
And is it worth all this shit? So like, there is really like a thought about like people are like, nah, I'm cool on that shit. I don't want to do it. Or they're like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna only do certain projects. Which
Yeah.
that's where I'm at.
That's an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
And I think
it's a blessing too. I will also say.
Of course,
It's very
but I think
privileged.
it does come with a privilege, but also I think it comes with a sense of self-worth that not a lot of people have because we talk about this all the time. There are like 500 living wage theater jobs, period. And so everybody has this like scarcity mentality where it's like, there are only so many, there's so many of me, like, you know.
Well, yeah, even on the idea of like you just had the SAG strike or the writer strike, like I don't know if there would be an equity strike simply because a lot of motherfuckers would cross the picket line.
No, this is what we
Oh,
always
Like
say.
so many
It
people would be like, "Oh, I can be on Broadway and step
Yeah.
right
who
in."
were we
Yeah.
talking to about that? Was it Taylor? I don't know.
Maybe,
We
I
were
don't
talking
know.
about when they did that Unite the Road thing, when they were trying to negotiate with the Broadway League about fixing the tour contracts. And I can say this, and I don't expect you to say this because I left the union. I was like, fuck all of you, because you can't tell me where all that money went in 2020. I've been a member of that union for 20 years. I became a member when I was 7 years old. And I was like,
She just wanted to tell her she was on Broadway so bad.
Yeah.
no,
It's kinda like college all over again.
I didn't even get it from that though. I got it before that. So it was like I
Talk
called,
your shit, Keaton. I'm sorry. Okay, I got that. I'm sorry.
the next time you say anything about your shit, I'm gonna be like, Don't say it, bitch.
I'm gonna say it anyway.
But anyway, I called them because I hadn't paid my dues in like 3 years, and I was like, hey, like, I really want to know where that money went from 2020 because we were
like, what?
Exactly. They're like, you're breaking up.
What?
So it's like
2020.
And I was like, they were like, doesn't ring a bell.
Like, it was a really tough time for all of us.
Yeah, exactly. When I was kind of like,
sorry, they're like, you have now entered into an automated. Bitch, it's you,
yeah,
John.
I know. Okay, no, but it's like, it really felt like that where I was like, you're not gonna give me anything, so I just like resigned. I was just like, okay, then I'm not doing I'm not doing this, and it's not like they need my money, and I also hadn't paid them like 3 years, but it's like because the union does so fucking little for actors, like they should be so fucking primed to strike, and no one will because there will be a million people lined up to cross the picket line as soon as it starts.
But there is like a, I'm agreeing with you. Not I said, but as if I'm not agreeing with you. There is like a there's such a if the right people said we're not going to do this.
Right.
If there was like an actual, like, I mean, there's always a reason to fucking strike.
This really bothered me because when Equity was like kind of threatening to strike during, when was that, like 2 years ago, about the Unite the Road stuff, when they were kind of like,
and it was only, like, I think to be clear, I think it was only the touring people that were striking.
When it was IATSE that struck.
Well, IATSE did, that was a different thing, but IATSE pledged to strike with Equity, as did the Musicians Union, which is the only power that Equity would have at all, because IATSE is fucking airtight, and so is the Musicians Union. And then later, when IATSE did strike, I saw motherfuckers on their close friends in Broadway shows like, oh, I really hope they don't strike. Like, I don't want to miss my 8-show week. Like, I'm supposed to go on this week or whatever. And I was like, you fucking assholes.
But to provide, I don't want to say devil's advocate.
No, you can be devil's advocate here.
I understand to an extent. First of all, we're in a selfish industry.
Sure.
Everything is so selfish.
Sure.
Even when people are striking, it's for selfish needs. In a way. Like, nobody, I don't know a lot of people in my head that I can think of off the tip of my brain. Like, oh, they're striking because they actually want to help out everybody.
Yeah.
Which is, it's like, it, and also this society we live in, it's just like a get it how you feel.
I also get it on a level of, if you have paid tens of thousands, if not, like, for some people, hundreds of thousands for theater education, whether or not that was a good decision or not.
I hear
and
that.
And you finally are making $2,000 a week, and like suddenly that goes away. Like, I sympathize with that.
I sympathize.
I sympathize.
That's about as far as it goes.
I think that's what it is.
My only thought is that striking in solidarity, or at least being in solidarity with IATSE, is the only way to ultimately get what you want down the road.
Oh, great.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's like, you better have their backs, because if they don't strike with you when you want to strike, when you need something really badly, you're fucked. Because there will be there's no solidarity with actors.
Let's keep it being. If there's, there's no solidarity. That's 100%. And if there was a strike that was like, all right, we got to do this, I'd be like,
no, exactly.
No, and I will
strike.
Right.
Strike. Strike.
I will say too, those unions, and especially IATSE. I'm a member of IATSE because
Are
I was
you?
yes
Oh, okay.
from when I was an usher
That's
at
iconic.
the Schubert
Really?
Theater where he
he's
is
taking
working
his shoes
now.
off.
wait, is that a thing?
They are
getting comfy.
the ushers are protected under a branch of IATSE. I shit
love
you not. But what's crazy is like
I love it.
those unions have been around for like 100 years. So there are things negotiated. Like the Schubert Theater, I enjoyed working there. They don't need like 18 ushers. Like you could probably get by with like 14. It would be a little more difficult, but it is contractual that like not only are you, they have to pay like all of those people, but if say 2 ushers are missing that day and someone is covering 2 aisles, you get double salary. Like they have to pay out like
IATSE
18.
Double work that.
They have to pay. I will
like
say,
how you guys do it?
I think
like, are you performing?
You're in your
I will say,
cap.
as a second job, ushering is great, and like it depends house to house, but like the Schubert has a cool front of house staff. Like,
oh yeah, I love Kenny. Kenny's my guy.
Kenny's.
Oh yeah, did he work there?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. I actually really fuck with
Kenny's awesome. Like Aaron, the head usher, is cool. Like their team is cool, but it is wild how much like the union has built in those protections. They have. If I worked there I didn't work there for very long, but if I had worked there for like 5 years, you get a pension. Like it is like.
IATSE is an incredible union.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying. That's my only thought. And I get what you guys are saying. And I do sympathize with like the idea of losing a week of your pay is obviously very scary. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, well, if you are going to be selfish about it, and that's really how you do like sort of move anything forward, is thinking about your own needs. the long game of being in solidarity.
Oh no, I'm
is
100% with
the
you.
only
Like,
way you're fucking getting anything.
I'm a little sympathetic to it, but I'm also like,
I get
all
it.
right,
I'm also
swallow
like, get your
it.
shit together.
Like,
I'm
you-
like, bitch, you're making so much money. I'm like, if you don't have enough saved up for a week, something else is wrong.
I'd also just like to say this before because I don't know about you guys, but I kind of want to stop talking about theater because theater sucks.
Yeah.
If a black woman acted the way Patti Lupone acted, people would fucking not like, even when there was an ounce of somebody a black woman acting like the way Patti Lupone acts.
Sure.
It was like, I'm like, bro.
Are you thinking of like something specific or?
She just wows out all the time, and she's known in the industry. And it's one of them things that people in the industry just kind of like talk about, and they're like, we don't really like to. It's like, bro, like, and respect. Like, I understand she's a fucking theater legend, but let's keep it a being. She's fucking disrespectful. She's rude. She's mean, and like, bitch, I don't give a fuck who you are. Don't stop talking to people like that.
Do you have a
if
personal experience with it?
Nah, I
You
don't
just
like.
know.
I
Yeah.
just know, and I've
Yeah.
seen it, and everybody that I've come across.
I was saying, do you have a specific?
Well,
instance?
she also said some shit about Hell's Kitchen. She was like, she told us some shit about like us being too loud. This is when I first got there too. Like we were too like there's a. It's like, bro.
Oh, because they're at the theater next
Did
door.
she personally come over and say
Wait,
that
she said you guys are too loud? That's also, I will say,
no,
a
wait,
problem
let me-
with all of those theaters where when we were doing Some Like It Hot before, like next door is the Neil Diamond show, and when they're doing Sweet Caroline through the house, you can hear like it's like one of the most serious moments in like Some Like It Hot is not a super serious show, but they have this moment that is like really dark, somber, where one of the leading lady is at her darkest moment, and like next door,
They're
if
like,
you're on the left side of the theater,
"Sweet
you hear like a bunch of fucking 60-year-old white people singing Sweet Caroline.
That's
like,
horrific.
but that's like a general theater problem, and it's like
Yeah.
if you've been working in the theater for 30 fucking years, you know.
And
Yeah.
I
Like,
understand you think you're somebody and you, but like they actually like
I was saying, do you have a specific instance of a black woman acting like that and
Lily
getting?
White when she did the thing in Hadestown where she like was like, hey, don't record this, and the
Oh,
lady was like,
shit,
I'm
yeah.
dead for some shit like that, and then like but the narrative around it was like like people were like, well, she needs to da da da, where like to me universally when Patti Lupone does some shit like that, it's like, oh
yeah,
my
she
God,
gets praised. She's on all the
shut
theater
the
magazines.
fuck up,
I know what
bro.
you mean. Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. I hate that shit.
It's also so unfortunate too because it's like just a really horrendous glaring example of like how much the theater, like how fucking racist theater is, and nobody ever wants to bring it up because they're afraid of like
Theater is so racist.
it's crazy.
I'm black. Like
So
it's
true.
like the racism I experienced, like
Yeah.
in like when I did Hamilton, I remember I would walk. I promise we'll get off the theater, but I would walk before they knew that I was in Hamilton. I would like walk by the stage door, and motherfuckers in the line would be looking at me like, I'm like, bitch, I'm in the show you about to go see,
Dude.
and I'll slap the shit out you. Stop playing with me. Like it's so crazy.
Yeah,
like
I bet.
and now like people are starting to recognize my face. They're like, oh my God, and I'm like, yeah, but before, if you don't know who I am, the way. Yeah, it's just.
Well, I do want to get off theater, but before we do, what was it like being one of the like few black people at CCM too? Because like I know at least within our department, like it got a little more diverse as it went. You don't have to talk about it, but
I'm like, he's black.
no, but like, but
Hello?
I know in our department it got like more diverse over the course of the years, mostly because people like Nora Shell were like calling out the department and just being like,
Oh yeah, Nora. Yeah.
yeah, Nora was like,
Fucking
you
love
need to
Nora.
accept
Yeah.
more black people and not have like two token like people of color in the class. And it like slowly got better, but it was still like when we got there, I feel like it was still very much like musical theater is a space for like white men, white people in general, and it is like, what was that like at CCM?
It was very similar. There was when I first got there, my freshman year, we did this like. There's so I could tell y'all about so many things that like I don't even think you probably even knew happened, right? But I got there and I remember it was 8 people out of 80 people that were like
8
of
black
color,
people out of
8
80?
black people
Wow.
or of color people,
Of color,
like,
yeah.
Just not white.
just not white.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fucking crazy.
And they were like, "This is the most we ever had." I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And like,
Yeah.
I'm from Charlotte, and my high school I went to an arts high school, but it was a public arts high school. So like, we had so like it was like, you know what I'm saying, just my
Yeah.
people, whatever. And like so much so we did the color purple in my high school. And so coming there was just like a culture shock. I remember I showed up in like, do you remember Diax? I showed up in jeans and like a hoodie. And
Yeah.
I was like, in like Vans. I was like, yo, and my, like, what's up? And I don't think there were certain things that people said and didn't realize that they were being racist. And
Oh
there were
my
certain things I
God.
called people out. And it was like, whatever.
was so long ago. Like
it was, there was a different time, and it was also like
it was a different time, but it was also like 2014. Like it wasn't like,
and we were young, and I think there was a lot of times that I met people and they were like, "Oh, this is the first time I've actually respectfully been friends with somebody black."
whoa.
Which is like, that makes sense to me. If you're from fucking Connecticut,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, but like I think about conversations we'd had too, like really early on, and I'm like, holy fuck, I was in a completely different understanding.
And
of
there's
like,
also that too, and there's also the thing when you're in school, you're in competition with everybody, and so you see somebody succeeding in school, whatever the fuck you see somebody, and it's like immediately like. And also we're in an environment that doesn't feed you, so you're like, there's jealousy. It's a bunch of shit that's involved. I remember somebody, I won't say the person, but a Broadway actor came to our school our senior year and was like, "Who in here?"
I know. I remember this. Yes.
I was like, "Bitch, I will up this whole shit," but I had to calm myself down because I'm like, I've had too many fights in school where like I feel like I'm like protecting or like talking about some shit. Which like about being black and shit like that. And I was like, well, this shit is so exhausting.
Wait, so when they came, what did they?
So they came to ours. It's a woman. They were in Wicked. They came and they were like, who?
I'm not gonna name. It's a woman. They were in Wicked. She's white. She's blonde.
All right. She came and she was like, who in here has their equity card? Me, Keaton, Sierra, and I think we were the only people.
Oh my god,
raised
I
our
remember
hand.
this. Yes.
And she was like, well, they like something to the effect of like, well, they're black. So like, and like right now that's
yeah.
in.
What?
Oh my god.
I was
Phil,
like, I looked around like.
Phil, I would have completely forgotten about that.
There's that happened. There was a instance when like I say nigga a lot. So there was an instance when I remember our sophomore year, I was arguing with the entire class about people not saying nigga. Like I was arguing. I don't know if you remember this, but
were people saying that?
They weren't saying it because I would have acted crazy, but they were like, well, we just don't understand why we can't say that. I said, you can't fucking say it because you not it. Don't play with me because like I'm like,
wait, was it our class? We were having this fight.
It was a class that we had with what's his Diane's husband was the teacher.
Oh, Bob.
And it was like me, Donnie, Sierra, and TJC were the only people, and it was like a combined class with like.
Oh my God! No, I remember it was empty history.
Empty history.
It was us and the class above us. Yeah.
Above us. And I remember there was this whole thing, and I was like. And I remember I was like going back and forth with a bunch of people. And I remember afterwards, like everybody was quiet. It was just me and like everybody else who wanted to talk. And then some people came up to me like, "You're so brave." I was like, "Shut the fuck up."
That's so crazy.
That's so
oh my God,
crazy.
wow. I would have fucking forgotten that because I remember, I think it was the same conversation. I had said something. I feel like maybe this conversation devolved into that conversation when we were talking about how I think I said that gay men can be the most misogynistic people in the world. And someone was like, because they like don't want to fuck women, and so they're like, we love women, but then they will shit on women because, and really what it is like, I'm not attracted to you, so I don't like owe you anything, or I don't want anything from you, so I can but I love you, so it's fine. And I remember I had said something to that effect in the class, and I don't know if it was the same conversation, but it feels like it may have like devolved into that conversation. And there was one person who was just, and I
Oh wow, yeah. I think he was probably somebody because he was so much like, I'm just being devil's advocate, bitch. I'll devil advocate this foot in your ass.
I remember that. That's so fucking crazy, and I just feel like nobody was like, I don't know. It was so, the culture was so bad already that like to bring something so prevalent in the culture into such a little epoch of that culture. And then also, not like demonize, because that's not the right word, but like to put the impetus on all the white people. No one was in a fucking headspace to take on anything else. So no one could actually have the moment to be like, I'm speaking for myself here. I don't know if that's the case for everybody, but no one could have the moment to be like, oh shit, yeah, I'm wrong here. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or like, no, there was no space to be able to be like, and that's not to like give any of those people who were fighting that any credit, but but you know what I'm saying, like you understood the culture.
I mean, I was an asshole in college. Shoot, let's keep it being like, yeah, I did like some wild shit in college. So like, there's like, but when we're talking about this specific thing,
but then when you're already like kind of an asshole, and then you're coming up against like 60-year-old like older gay men who are running summer stock theaters for 30 years and have like
privileged white kids that like have no. No one has ever looked at them and been like, no, you can't do that, and you're wrong for it actually. And then having them, and everyone's already in this defense mode all the time and trying to just make it through the day, that to have someone come at them and be like, no, that's really fucked up that you would think that's okay, they're immediately like, what the fuck, you know what I mean? It doesn't make it right, but I would have forgotten.
No, well.
Well, I feel like there's probably so much more shit that I don't even. I'm sure there's just so much more
but
shit
also
that I
you
don't
told
know
me
about
about some shit that you went through in college too, and I was like, oh damn, I didn't even know that was happening.
It's so funny too because I remember I told
I
Sierra.
was like, I was really good friends with him too.
Well, I mean, I think too, just like the BFA theater environment is already.
It's so bad.
It's
yo.
so bad,
It's
and
so
then
bad.
and then you just add like the racial dynamics to it. You add the like power dynamics already with men and women because like there are so fewer men, and so a lot of professors and teachers and directors are like, let me lift this man up, and no matter what he does, it'll be fine.
Girl. Yeah, sounds like it. That's so interesting too. Like, I don't know. I know we're trying.
No,
to
respect to Patti Lupone. I would love to sit down and talk with her.
Dude, the thing is, if this goes
If she
out,
was- no, if she was
she
like-
might find you in Schubert Alley, and
I don't give a fuck. Me and Patty can get down. Like, I would love to have a conversation with her because I also don't feel like people challenge people enough. I feel like
Yeah.
people
No.
are afraid of Patti Lupone. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. Like,
Yeah.
hey, big dog, what you gonna do to me?
Yeah, exactly. I love it. I think you should.
you should throw it
Imagine.
out with Patti Lupone.
That'd be nah, I will never fight a woman.
No,
but
not
I would love
like fully. Like I mean, just verbally.
Oh, verbally throw down. Yeah, for sure. 'Cause I get loud too, girl.
I love this image of like you guys sitting at like a coffee shop in Midtown. like, you know what I mean? Like,
You're like a
dude,
fucking
she has like
Starbucks across from your theaters.
We're like, bro, and there's no seats over there.
Nah, you're just
You're
standing at the
standing.
counter.
yeah.
Oh,
She's
that-
screaming at
Patti
you.
she's screaming. I'm like, all right, Patty.
Patty, please, let's have a civilized conversation, girl.
Let's just speak.
It's
She's
so
like, we don't
fucking
come
crazy.
from this. I'm like, bitch. Yeah, respect that.
Okay, so moving away from theater because fuck the whole thing, really. Just kidding. Literally on Broadway right now.
Go see Hell's Kitchen. It's good.
Yeah, I gotta go see it. I can't wait to.
It's a really good
I
show.
haven't seen it yet at all, but
It's a really good show.
Alicia Keys randomly went to my high school in New York. She went to
Oh, really?
PPAS. Yeah.
She's,
on-
she's amazing. I
Yeah.
met
Oh
her
my
the
god. I
first
mean,
time.
she's a fucking icon. She's
I
an
mean, yeah,
icon.
the music is awesome because it's Alicia Keys, but like people are fucking singing. The choreo
That's what
is
I've heard.
sick. Like
Everyone's,
it
like,
is. It is
singing
a
down.
great show.
Yeah, that rocks. Yes, but you also make music,
I do.
and you've been making music for a long time since I've known you.
The first song I've ever recorded was with you.
Which one was it? What did we do?
Angels all I see.
Oh, I love that song.
That was a song we wrote
Oh my
about
god, we
Max.
had fucking a SoundCloud when we were in college.
I
It
don't
was.
want it.
It was no. Oh my god,
It's
yeah,
so
cut that out,
bad.
please.
Wait, no,
Don't
wait,
tell
wait,
anyone
wait.
about
I mean,
that.
don't cut it out, but just let's make sure we don't.
Is
say
it
the
is it
name.
available still?
No,
No, it's not.
Okay, so it doesn't matter.
it is.
It is.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Please.
So
Internet
bad.
sleuths. If you
It'll
wanna
end
find
both of our
Keaton or
careers
Phil,
forever.
yeah.
Oh, it's so bad. Like I was listening to it the other day, and I was like, oh my god,
trying to
this
think.
is so bad.
We used to do it for fun all the time though, because Donnie could produce, so we would just
Yeah.
go and like sit in Donnie's room and just
At the Verge.
at the
At
Verge.
the Verge in
Yeah.
Cincinnati, Ohio.
Wow.
Shouts out to the Verge.
And so, did you?
I was going to say put you on blast so bad just now, and I was like, I'm not gonna do it.
Were you always?
No, wait, no. What were you gonna say? Wait, no, please.
You don't want
You
me
talking
to
about
say
the smoothie thing?
Yes.
Oh God.
One time, Phil and I got in a really bad argument. As you can see, I think we have pretty fairly similar personalities,
Yeah.
and so as you can imagine, over the 4 years of school, they would often
Clash.
clash pretty bad.
Sorry, I
And
didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no, you're good.
no, one time Phil got so mad at me, he threw a smoothie at my door. And I didn't know about it until I left like 2 hours later. I was like, I didn't hear it. I like didn't know when I walked out, and I had to text you. I was like, did you throw a smoothie at my door? And you were like, yes.
Because I can't lie. I was like,
You'd be like, yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
did
did
that. We hadn't spoken about it until like last year, I think.
No.
Or this year. No, I guess we had spoken about it, but
I don't know.
you
I don't think we talked about the smoothie specifically.
No, I don't think so
for a
either.
while, yeah.
Oh my god, it was so fucking funny. An iconic thing to do.
I was really mad too. It was a really good
I
smoothie.
was really mad
It was
too.
a really good smoothie. Sorry.
Anyway, so when did you start writing music?
I started writing music in college. I was 20, and we would go to the Verge, like we were saying, and just write a bunch of shit. And then I remember, so Donnie, our friend Donnie, asked me. He was like, "Hey, bro, like, never rapped, never wrote really before." He was like, "Can you write a verse of this thing?" And I was like, "Sure." And then I just wrote a verse.
Word.
And then I was like, "Oh shit, I'm like kind of decent at like writing more than not." I've always been like pretty neurotic, but I was like, "Oh, this is actually kind of cool." And then we started to do it every day. We would be up till like 6 o'clock in the morning. I remember when there was a point where I was like Christmas break, I was working there and doing the show, but also working at school. So I would work till 6 o'clock with Donnie and them in the studio, and then go to work at 10, and then do the show at night. It was like nuts, but it was like I loved doing it. I was sick the entire time, like literally sick. My body was like, bro,
rejecting it. You're sleeping 2 hours.
I was like, hey, bro, you have to sleep. But it was so much fun. And then I just kind of. I like took a few breaks and I got serious about it again when I moved to Chicago, and then I kind of just been like on and on with it now. And now I finally have like a team of people that like actually believe in me as an artist, separate from my actor thing.
You have a separate team, so it's like totally different people.
I have
That's
like
good.
a creative director now. I have
That rocks.
a manager. I have like somebody who works with marketing with me now.
Amazing.
And this is all like within this past like few months.
Yeah. Well, it's so smart because your theater career is so on a massive upward trajectory. And so it's like I think it's so important to have things that you make on your own as well.
Yeah.
Because I think as an artist, if you're just waiting for people to give you jobs, it's like,
well, and just to diversify the ways that you can make money or to like make a career, to be performing,
to ups your value.
Like, totally. Also, something that I will say that I thought was so fucking smart that I asked you about, which was on the Wiz cast recording, you had them tie it to your
my
artist name, which was
for
so fucking smart. I literally was like, that is absolutely brilliant. And I asked you, I was like, did they ask you to do that or did you fight for it or whatever? And he said he fought for it. But like now all of those monthly listeners, when you click on the artist, it goes straight to his artist profile. Yeah. And all of those monthlies from the Wiz recording will transfer over to you. So it looks like you've got, you're wrapped this year as an artist is going to be nuts. Massive, which is
it's going to be like 5 million streams.
No, literally though, but
I'll be like, none of those are me. Like,
no, but like,
it is.
But it's such a smart fucking move because also when people are just looking you up, it's like, oh shit, look at all these numbers. Yeah. You know what I mean? And numbers in the music industry are the most important. It's the only fucking bargaining power you have in the whole world.
Well,
so
and
it's
like just creating
so
channels
smart.
where people can find your music. Like just having a means of, even if it is 1 in 20 people who like the Wiz are clicking over, and
so fucking smart.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make the music thing also another business, because it is a way to make it a business as well.
Totally.
Like it takes, as of now, it takes a lot of money, but like there's a way to like make it like you can have value like monetarily. Like
absolutely.
So I'm trying to do that as much as I possibly can. So like now I'm building my brand, what my brand is, and outside of this. So even when I come out to the stage, where it's like, oh wait, that's Phil. Like I know who that is.
Totally. Where you're recognized as a music artist as well as just an actor. Yeah,
what do you, in your ideal world, what does that brand look like?
It's me. So we've decided on, and it's something that it's actually not that I've curated it. Of course it's curated, but it's like stuff that I actually really like doing. Like I love vintage shopping. I love I love the 90s. I love the fashion from the 90s. So it's been like fashion from the 90s, and I love grills. So I like always wear like a hat and like 90s fashion and like jewelry and like grills and like my glasses as well, because I actually can't see. So these are all things
actually
that are like
blind.
Yeah, I'm actually blind. So it's actually like things that are imperative to like myself as a person. Come on, Kat.
Yeah, Jamie's cat is running around. We never address this, but we're in a change of locales today because Keaton is in the middle of a move. Mm-hmm. And so we're in Jamie's apartment, and her cat is running around. Phil is allergic to cats, but we're making it work.
Are you dying?
No, I'm actually good.
Okay, good.
I haven't touched the cat, and I've also taken allergy pills.
Okay, perfect.
I haven't touched my eyes.
Okay, good.
I don't think.
No, I don't think so.
If I touch my eyes, if I just start sneezing, you know what it is.
Okay. That's really cool though. I feel like, and you feel like you have a creative director now, which is really sick.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this because we had my creative director on a couple episodes ago, and we were saying it's such an imperative piece of a team, I think, because as an artist, like you shouldn't have to think about everything. Like your job should be writing and making the music, and yet because it is a business and because it's a brand and whatever, you do have to be aware of how everything looks, how everything, on the internet goes out and like the rollouts and what the fuck ever. And it's not like a diss to have someone helping you with that. Like it's not like, doesn't make you less valuable. It's like so fucking important.
Well,
so
it makes you just have to not focus on every little detail.
Yeah,
too.
it's like you should be able to have to.
I shot this piece of content for my new song I have coming out November, and it's also like now that it's November 12th.
Oh, nice.
I actually now feel like musically as well too, like because I have worked with the same people for like a long time. Now I can like actually have these people as assigned roles, because my manager was like, all right, this person is this person is it. So every time I need a guitarist, I have like this guitarist who plays for like if I have a So-Far show, what I did my first So-Far show, had a guitarist he's always going to show up. And something about building a team is having people they're not, and not saying that anybody on my team isn't great or they're not the best, but they're not everybody who's like the dopest person or the dopest artist, but somebody who's the most reliable person.
Yeah,
that is the most
Yeah,
important.
no,
Very
it's
important.
huge. Like having people who will just show up
know what I
or who
mean?
can
If I
100%.
could just call you and be like, hey, bro, are you going to show up for this? And he's like, yeah, I got you. That's what I have. And so now my creative director, I shot this piece of content the other day, and I had these ideas of like, okay, and she was like, okay, I want to make it like this. I want to make it like this. And I showed up and like, we just shot it rather than like, okay, I show up, we figure out what the, like, and I have a DP person. I have a like a director of photography who's also helping me now too.
That's awesome.
Because I shoot everything on my VHS
What Jimmy
camera.
does for us, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
right. And I shoot everything on VHS cameras because that's like, I love
your brand, yeah.
nostalgia. Like that's
Yeah.
my thing. And I also am a very nostalgic person. I keep everything. I'm like a fucking hoarder. But yeah, so that's it's, and now just being able to be like, okay, I have these ideas, help me branch this idea out, and then let's make it happen.
What was the process too of like building out that team? Like how quick was it in terms of each additional person, and like what were you looking for when you did that?
Well,
when you started?
my manager Kerry, shouts out to Kerry. He is a guy who actually, he was an artist in his own regard. You know, he's been doing it for years, and he's like, I want to be a manager, and I did this show for him like 2-3 years ago, and he was like, you're incredible as a performer. Like my music wasn't always there, but like as a performer, that's my bag. Like I love performing. That
Of course.
I think I'm great at it, and I
Yeah.
also trained at it for years. You
Yeah,
know?
you have a fucking
degree.
$1 billion degree.
$1 billion degree,
Yeah.
literally. And so I hit him up, and I did this show in March because I was like trying to like make this happen before the Wiz, and like it's like a 60-person show, 60 seaters. Hurt my feelings. It's like 60. You're like,
Hurt my
you do
feelings.
this whole thing, and you're planning it for months, and like 60 people show up. You're like, all right, yeah,
I mean,
that's cool.
that is a lot of people, actually.
It was like 3 acts, and I just like I feed off of energy, and also
I
it
get
was
it,
60,
but-
and it's New York, so people are just like, I'm like, bitch,
People in New York and LA are always too cool to have a good time. It's
jam
so
out,
fucking annoying.
bitch, have
I know.
fun.
It's LA and New York are the worst, and Nashville too, because they're all
Really?
music.
Oh,
yeah, because they're all
yeah,
music
yeah,
people.
yeah.
So they're like, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, have a good time for once.
Hey, bro, like have fun.
Try something.
So he performed at the show, and he also like he does like events. So he was like, and he saw me perform, and he was like, all right, cool. Again, and we've kind of just stayed connected. And he was like, hey, bro, I like want to manage you, and I've had a manager before in the music space. It's shitty, and so I was kind of a little like, I don't know, bro. And so like I'm also just skeptical about everything. That's just kind of like my personality. I'm like, I don't really know who's like real, who's not.
Yeah.
Well, and that also makes sense if you've had a shitty manager already. You've been through some of these projects where people are like, we're taking you to Broadway. You're going to win a
Yeah.
Tony Award.
Yeah, like nothing really impresses you anymore.
Like-
It's kind of
I
like,
get that.
bro, show
skepticism
me.
is earned. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, show me, and he was like, all right, bet. I mean, like I didn't say that, but he just was like, I'm gonna just show you.
Yeah.
And he's also like he's from North Carolina too. I'm from North Carolina, so it also like we have ties in that way, and like he's like kind of an older brother, and I've known him for like 3 years now, but like we've been working together as a team for like a few months, and he just since then I've been like, even I had to reflect the other day. I was like, yeah, bro, this is the thing for me.
It's been a level up.
Like just in the sense of like he's like built like, so he was like, hey, what's your brand? Da 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 da. All right, cool. That's your brand. What are pillars that you want as an artist? These things? Bet. All right, cool. Those are the messages that we're gonna put out. These are the things that we're gonna do. What's like, who are the people that you can rely on? This person's not reliable. Don't rely on them. Like I'm like, oh, great. Like he takes care of shit. Like, and we've also had like really hard talks, like money, because money in music is like, right
Bad.
now, at the beginning stages,
Bad.
there's no money.
Well, it's just you investing, like having to put your own money in.
Feels like, don't touch me.
Okay.
Yeah. So how much are you investing right now just to get things off the ground?
I've put so much money in this.
Do you
Like,
feel comfortable saying like
I
approximately
don't
how
even
much?
know. I don't even know, honestly. To be honest, because I think I used my Broadway money to like to make this happen, which is also like, and I like, for example, like I have a graphic designer person now, and person who like redid my website. She's so fucking great. 8th House Studios on Instagram. Her name is Christine. She's fucking amazing. I like was like, hey, I need a graphic designer, and she like, hey, mamas, and she was like, she hit me up, and I was like, she's a black woman. I was like, all right, cool. And I actually looked at her page, and I was like, oh, I really fuck with you. And then we got on the call. She was like, here's like, she wrote down a whole brand like page, but for that, I paid her like, well, I don't want to tell her rates.
Yeah.
I paid her
A good amount of
a
money.
few $1,000s. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
To do my web design, and she's also like on the team now, so she works with me. But she is like, and that's only just one of the costs. I paid when I do shows, like I travel to,
Yeah.
I did a show in Charlotte. I like made $100 from that show at post, like after
All
and
the
also
costs of everything.
you know,
yeah, of course.
And that, again, I mean, we made more money, but there was like 4 artists on the bill, so like we split all the money in 4 ways. Because I'm like, bro, like this isn't about the money for me. I would like to.
I just want to do it.
As
Yeah,
fair as we can make it.
of
Right?
course.
And I did a so far show. Like I still haven't. I have like 100. Like there's, and I pay my artists that I try to work with.
Of course,
you
yeah.
know, my
Your band.
instrumentalist.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I try to do that as much as I can, and I have like a music director now, and I, you know, I paid for my song that's coming out. I paid him because he's also one of my producers. I paid my friend to come out here to like.
Well, and it's
come
also
and
like how you have to,
engineer me.
if you're trying to build anything, how you have to set a certain tone to like get reliable people, to get people
Yeah.
willing to do it. It's like,
So I'm like,
even,
I'm gonna make sure that you feel comfortable. Like I'm gonna be like, hey, bro, this is all out of pocket. And most people are like understandable of that, as long as it's not like you're not trying to fuck them. I'm like, and
Yeah.
with money, I'm like, hey, bro, I'm gonna pay you immediately, so you don't feel like.
We always
Yeah.
talk about this too, where it's like you have to be really cautious, or not cautious, but you have to like. No one. I always say this to everyone that I work with, where it's like no one is taking the money and pocketing it. There's not like an overflow of money that's getting pushed somewhere else. There's just no money. So whatever I have, I'm willing to give you, but I don't want you to think like it's the rate is so low because someone else is taking it from you. It's like there just isn't any.
Hello?
You know.
hello.
And I think that's hard for people to understand, depending on kind of where you're at and.
Well, you're in a different place too, because you're probably working with like such higher up people in the sense of
Yeah.
like
Well-
in the music world, and so in music people get paid. Like there are people who, like once we're talking about, once you get past a certain level,
Yeah.
you do work with people like.
People who do get paid. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, you know.
or you'll be on bills where like someone is making money, you just aren't.
You just aren't.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also like once you have a label, it's very different because those
And you're
costs.
a label, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How was that? We've talked about it. I don't know how much you want to get into it on mic.
Oh
but
no,
we've
I
talked
can
about it.
I can get into it. Yeah.
'Cause I'm an independent artist.
Yeah, and that's an amazing way to be. And also you have a flow of money coming. Great.
Sorry.
you have a flow of money coming in that you can fund yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
It's
which
hard.
is
I will at some point want some sort of assistance with that.
yeah, of course.
Whether it's like distribution or
yeah, and there's a million routes to go with that. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to sign to a major. And
But you're with a major.
I am, yes. So I'm
You're
on
with
Atlantic,
Warner.
yeah.
Oh.
Technically, yeah.
Oh.
Which is owned by Warner.
Okay.
I'm on Feel by Ramen, which is a subsidiary of Atlantic. But like I think you know, we're really lucky because we're in a situation where were we to be independent, we couldn't tour in the way that we are now. We can't fund it. We get tour support from our label, which is a huge reason why it was important to us to sign to a major, because we were like, we don't have anything coming in, you know? And so the way that ours happened is so rare these days. Like we didn't have a huge TikTok following at the time. We didn't like, we weren't streaming super high. Like, you know, we just got kind of connected and people liked what we did, which is again, extraordinarily rare.
Very rare.
And obviously we feel really lucky to do that. And we are in a position where now we have a really solid team of people that really believe in what we do. That being said, like if you have the ability to stay independent as long as you can, I think that's a really fucking smart move, because you can keep all your money. And then by the time that you have numbers, you can go into a major or you can go into an indie or wherever you want to be and have bargaining power.
Yep.
And
But-
say, I have this, what can you do for me?
It also though speaks to the importance of like you having this Broadway income right now, like being the ability, because I've talked to like a couple weeks ago, a friend of mine from high school came into town and he wants to get into like the content interview world. And because of the company I work for, he was like, can you give me advice? And he works like an insurance job or something random. I was like, keep that job.
Mm-hmm.
And while you are pocketing that salary, use some 30% of it or whatever you feel comfortable spending
Invest.
to
Yeah.
invest in the thing, pay for the videographers, pay for other people to help you. Like having that supplemental job, like the reason I'm able to do this is because of my main job. Like,
And the reason I'm able to do this is because of his main job.
yeah. and
That's so fucked up.
but it
It's literally
speaks to,
true.
like, in terms of trying to build this out independently, like we now, having done it for whatever 10 episodes, we're gonna have our radio partner. We have like certain things that are coming out of it, but
That's nice.
it
Yeah.
comes from being willing to say we're investing on this level. Like we are not paying Jamie enough, but we are paying Jamie what we can
Right.
on a buy-in.
I mean,
of,
we don't
like,
pay Jamie enough for the music stuff. Like it's like Jamie's on retainer and it's not enough to live. But she does it because she loves us. But she supplements with other gigs. Like she takes other artists,
as we do as artists.
But it's also a buy-in of like, we hope that within however much time it takes us to like start turning a profit, then we can actually redistribute, and like that stability on the underside to be able to do it independently. Like I feel like the label becomes really useful if you have no resources. And it's also like why a lot of these labels can take advantage of people, because like I have no resources, I want to be able to record it, and so like,
and I don't have a team of people who believe in me, so they're gonna bring in all these people,
right?
To, like, feed you with all these lies, and
we're extremely, like I said, really fortunate in the way that this all happened, because we had sort of a team built out before we signed to a label. So we had people looking out for us, and also I feel really solid. Hey, Bingus. Hi. Oh, she's like, on the move.
She's actually on the label.
Yeah, and that's
not too much.
She's my A&R, but no, I feel really lucky about the team that we have, because I'm at Fuel by Ramen, which is a smaller team. It's so much more like interpersonal, and like you kind of feel like you're on an indie, and it functions kind of like an indie with the support of a major behind it, which is really awesome. And like, we didn't meet with a lot of people, but you kind of, I don't know, at least you can kind of tell who's in it because they believe. And especially when you don't have a lot to bargain with, when people are like willing to be like, I really like this thing, let's go for it. You know what I mean? And like I said, I love our team. I think kind of my A&R at the label and the guy who kind of runs it is just the fucking best. People always say he's too nice to be in music, and it's the truth. No comment. But like
you into him?
Shut the fuck up.
I just want to start some shit.
You're the worst.
I really don't want to start anything. I'm just being stupid.
I get dropped from the label. It's your fault. They're like, I was really fucking inappropriate.
All within a week. He gets dropped from the label. Patti Lupone is throwing hands in Schubert Alley.
I knew this is how this would go, by the way. I'm having you on the pod.
What's your sign?
What?
What's your zodiac sign?
I'm an Aries.
Ooh, fire. Yeah, a lot of fire.
Wow. Right.
Wow.
Right. We're Leos.
And what are you? Aquarius, water.
But that the sister sign to Leos though.
My rising is Aquarius.
My rising is Aquarius.
Fuck you.
No way you do that after asking what someone's sign is. You initiate the conversation.
And that makes
I want to start some shit.
There was an amazing meme.
An
amazing meme that someone posted. This will happen to you, I hope, is that someone posted a picture of their computer screen with bullet holes in it, and it was said, Pete was a little bit mean to Keat on the pod this week.
Oh my god.
I was like, get him. I don't remember what the fuck we were talking about, but no, we are in a very fortunate, very, very fortunate position. And I don't say that lightly, because I know things can go so poorly for artists on a major label situation. I've not had that experience, which I feel really grateful for. I also haven't been on a label that long, so. But I feel like there are so many fucking ways you can go about being an artist, and especially with like streaming. Like, I still think that nobody fucking knows how streaming works. Nobody really still understands it. No one.
They're changing it while we're.
All these things are getting fine tuned, or like the algorithm that worked on TikTok 3 years ago is not the same one that works today.
And it's like this hard thing, because this is why I love my A&R so much, is because I had like a fucking meltdown in his office when I was in LA at one point, being like, I just was in LA, we were trying to write, we were on a writing thing, and everyone was just getting on us about making TikToks and like making videos and making content, which is so important. Unfortunately, it is really important, and there are people who do it with so much integrity and people who do it in a really cool way, and I respect it. And I think we've kind of started to get into a groove about figuring out
how. You guys'
how.
TikTok is pretty cool.
It's all Jamie.
Oh really?
Yes, it is. It's a balance, but we tried it. But Jamie edits
cool.
it.
Cool.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
And Jamie is the engine that makes it.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're starting to kind of figure out like what works for us and how to do it in a way that doesn't feel so horrific. But like, I had like a breakdown in his office. I was just like, I don't know. I'm just like having this meltdown. And I was like, at the end of my rant, I'm like, do you have this conversation every single day? And he was like, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also he was able to look at me and just go, I don't know how it works. I can't say do this and it's going to work. I don't know. I have meetings with TikTok every week and I still don't know. They don't know.
People don't know.
nobody knows. And so what pisses me off is when somebody looks at you and go, well, if you just do this, then you'll be good. It's like,
no.
Nobody fucking knows how to do this. So you have to figure out what works for you, and you have to figure out what makes you feel okay about doing it and makes you feel motivated to do it and all of these different things, and not rely
you know what
on.
motivation is?
What'd you say?
You know what my motivation is?
What?
Likes.
I was gonna say mine is revenge.
Followers.
So
No.
Wait, let's expand on that a little bit.
No. It's all a joke, but it is because like I had this thing. I did this like this series on TikTok.
oh my god, I love this.
It's like musical theater, but like when you're like a little bit hood or something like that. And at first the word was thug, and I kind of was like, that's a little cringy to me because like there's just so much connotation that comes with that word.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and like there's a certain like thing, but I was like, I understand what it, because it's what when you look at me on the street, you're probably not like, hey, he does musical theater. And I was like, let me just use that because I can like
This
sing.
is the moment where we insert the clip of you going, it only takes. It's like him singing like classical musical theater, but like in the beginning, you're like
talking shit, or I'm like, yo, this shit is like, I just fuck with this shit. This shit is mad hard. Because that's, you know what I'm saying? That's how I talk, but then it's like, but then you don't expect.
Jerry Herman.
So then I did this thing, and I was like, I started doing it. I did that shit out of revenge. I was like, I remember I went to go supposed to do the show, and I was like, oh fuck, I'm not doing the show, so let me show motherfuckers I can sing. And then it started kind of go like mini viral, right? And I was like, all right, that's whatever. I'm not doing that shit. And I started doing it again, and it's like the more I would do it, the more it would go viral. And I just stopped doing it because I was like, that shit is fucking whack, and I don't want to be like a niche. I just want to like upload whatever the fuck I want to upload.
I understand what you mean, because
then it's like you're stuck doing that always.
I used to do like political comedy shit on TikTok, and it would get a ton of attention, and the more I leaned into it, like I figured out even if it was like cringe in my own brain, like I was like, I know which of these levers to pull to get 10,000 likes, 100,000 likes, whatever.
And you can also plug your own shit too, which I'm like, that's what I have to figure out. How do you incorporate it?
You have to find the balance that's authentic and that you actually like that is true to yourself.
And I think branding helps with that. I think like if if somebody sees me, they're like, oh, that's Phil. Oh, you're the guy from TikTok. Oh, you make your own. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. I like it, whether you like the music or not. It's at least gonna like get somebody to listen to it, because music is subjective, right? That's the right word. Yeah, music is subjective, so it's like you can. If I like this musical, maybe I won't like this, but everyone's like, make a Christmas album. So I'm like, at some point, I'm gonna make a Christmas song, but it's gonna be my Christmas song, but it's gonna be like a version. I need a
Phil Christmas song.
But it's like, and also I hate it. I wanted to not lean into like the whole like I sing thing, because I wanted to be like a rapper, because I do rap, but it's like, bro, you can
really
have multiple talents,
bro. You can do everything.
It would be a shame for you to not sing on your own stuff.
And I had to like get over that shit, and part of.
It's because you want to rebel against it so much. It's because I really get it.
Yeah, I wanted to be like, fuck this shit. I don't want to sing. Like
I have the exact same.
You know what I mean?
Issue.
And so
but
the team around me is like, hey, bro, you have a good voice.
You have an amazing voice.
Well, and especially if you're confident in that voice and you like to sing.
And I do like to sing. I just had to like sing enough to like tell myself I like to sing.
Yeah, and find the avenues you actually like.
That you like.
Because I feel like, especially from the musical theater of it all, like that can beat out the actual enjoyment of performance out of you.
But I do like singing musical theater songs, and that's the thing too, is that I had to be like, oh wait, I can just sing them and like nope. And that was my thing. The reason I'm rebellious is I'm like, nobody is like, who's gonna do? What, you gonna beat me up? Like you're not gonna beat my ass. Like so, I'm gonna just sing this the way I want to sing this, and like actually people enjoy it because it's an original take. Like from the musical influences I have to sing it the way I want to. So it's like, oh yeah, duh.
Yeah, where it's like you don't like. I for so long was like I would just push against anyone being like, it's like they're theater girls about me and Dan, and like it still happens all the time. And now I'm kind of like, well, yeah, that's what makes our show so good.
Yeah, like I'm actually really good at performing.
Yeah, I'm a good performer, and I have a $1 billion degree in it. So it's like, yeah. So I'm like, I'm in debt for that shit. So you better like it. And it's like, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, why fight against something? And I love theater so much.
Yeah, I love it too.
I love it, and it's such a shame because I wish I didn't, but I do. I love it. I love the art form so much. It's such a shame. Yeah. But it's like, you know, the business of it all and the fucking industry takes out a lot of the.
But it's like the music industry too.
But it's same shit, and so it's just like, why fight against something that you're A, extremely good at, B, very successful in commercially, and C, like makes you the kind of artist that you are, like.
Yeah, it can work in tandem with all the shit you want to do.
Yeah,
like you
totally.
can be releasing your music and performing, and
like I write from like a perspective of a storyteller, and I'm like, oh, that's because of the shit that I've like the way I can read a script and be like, oh, I know where the story. Like
I
read
feel
scripts
exactly
all
the same way, where
so
it's
I'm
like,
oh,
if you don't want to write entirely from your own perspective, being able to like delve into something or like have like an inkling of an idea and then go deeper into that idea, and it might not be like how you feel yourself, but like you're able to do that. And people are always like, you guys write such crazy shit, like is this all about your lives? And we're like, no, almost none of it is. And sometimes like you'll get like a pin drop of like, oh, this is some real shit, but very rarely is that the case. And I actually enjoy that usually in an artist a lot more, because I think it's so much more interesting to watch. Like, I don't know, a lot of my favorite artists do that, where it's like writing from different perspectives and like having sort of a full character. And I mean, a lot of artists have like full characters all the time. Like they go on stage, like
Lamar does that shit. He performed at the Grammys like he takes on characters and he'll like write some
as
shit.
like an alter ego.
And it's crazy.
It's so sick. It's like Ethel
crazy.
Cain is like an entirely, like Ethel Cain is not who, like that's a character that she wrote and like made an album, and now she performs as Ethel Cain, and it's like so sick. But like
it's kind of borderline crazy too, though.
Yeah, I mean, it is also a little fucking crazy. But I'm like, also like Billie Eilish's first record, she wrote a song about killing all of her friends, like, or her first EP even. Really? Bellyache is about murdering all of her friends and dumping their bodies. And it's
that's like half of the persona Eminem created for himself for like years.
Literally.
It's about murdering his wife.
So it's like,
but it's interesting though.
Yeah,
I used to let it. Bitch, I'm gonna kill you. You don't want to fuck with me. I was like in fucking 11, like.
Yeah, literally like
but
7th grade.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Bro? Literally, I know, it's so crazy.
A kid.
You're a child. But like, I think not straying away from that and finding the avenues that like make you feel actually good about what you do in all regards. Like, it is possible. And you see people, I always reference artists that I like that do the internet and the TikTok thing so well. And it's like, it's such a fucking thorn in your side all the time to have to do that. But something else that my A&R said to me, which I thought was fucking brilliant, he was like, it's MTV. Like, it's the same. TikTok is MTV now. And he was like,
wow, I like that.
He's brilliant. But like, so many artists didn't. Well, my friend Phil loves you. Oh my gosh, I had to say that, sorry. But like, he was like saying that like there were so many like rock artists specifically, and he's like a rock guy, you know, like he's like emo and rock music, that's his whole thing. And like he walk a lonely road. How many times can you sing American Idiot in this entire podcast?
I can make it work. I love American Idiot,
dude, it's the best.
We did that show in college. Sorry.
Yeah, we did do that show in college.
I saw that.
You saw it?
Did you like it?
It was solid.
No. I understand.
I remember because Phil and I both tumble a little bit, and they would put it.
We never did it. It never.
No, not one single time. But I remember
we just did cartwheels on stage.
They would put tumbling in everything. I did a round off back handspring in carousel.
Yeah, I'll never forget there was a Michigan alumni who came back, and he'd been in like 5 or 6 Broadway shows, and he was like,
never
do not tell
people
you can tumble. Yeah. He was like, I have like fucked up sides of my body because of like, just I'm tumbling onto my right leg every day.
Yeah,
for
okay, so we had a
300 times.
Phil and I were supposed to have a pass in the first number.
Yeah.
And I remember I put my costume on and I said, there's literally
I don't know, leather jacket.
There's literally I had like 6 studded belts on that added like 5 pounds to my body. And I was in skinny jeans and like I was like
trying to do an aerial and
trying to do an aerial in skinny jeans and 6 studded belts. I was like,
and just like, just do it.
Yeah, I was like, so every day Philip and I were on opposite, right? We were on opposite sides of the stage, and we were supposed to cross.
Right,
we were supposed to cross and tumble. It
never happened.
Never happened.
I always almost fucked my ankle.
we would look at each other and be like,
not today.
Like Doc Martens
and I'm like, why am I trying to tumble in Doc Martens?
I was like, this is insane. I remember saying that. I was like, guys, we can't tumble in these. And they were like,
He's like, you can do what you want.
So we would, every single time we were supposed to throw aerials and we were supposed to pass each other. And every single time we would look and we would both put our hands down. At the last minute, like, time.
I'm going to break my neck.
Every day we'd be like, we're going to do it today. We're going to do it. And then every time we'd be like, no, fuck no. I couldn't get enough air. I was like being weighed down by metal.
And also like there was like a piece of the stage that was like cut off too. So it just gave us less room. Because of like the set, it was just like, it was
just never going to happen. And it never did. If you didn't look closely, it might look like we were doing aerials, but no.
It looked bad. It looked pretty bad.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Anyway, I feel like that getting into college musical theater, I feel like that's probably glass slipping for the day. Do we have more things we want to talk about?
Is there anything you want to plug?
Oh yeah, your song's coming out the 12th. You said, right?
My song
This is going to
out-
come out the week before that. So
Oh, perfect.
Oh,
So
beautiful.
my song is out November 12th. It's called Whiskey Neat. I'll send it to you guys if you want to.
I'll take my whiskey neat. Is it like that?
No, it's more like shut
Phil
up,
sings
Keaton.
Hosier.
It's like shut the fuck up, Keaton, while I'm plugging my stuff. Don't talk over me.
I'm so sorry.
I'm playing. Damn, now I feel bad. Wait,
kidding, I'm just
no. No, I have a song coming out November 12th called Whiskey Neat by Phil with a period, and I'm excited about it. Follow me on Instagram at Phil's Good Music. That's PHILS Good Music, and that's everywhere. Follow me. Check out my website, philsgoodmusic.com.
Go see Hell's Kitchen on Broadway.
Go see Hell's Kitchen
see
on
Hell's
Broadway.
Kitchen
Come
on
see us at
Broadway.
the Schubert Theater. It's a really great show. It's a really, 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 really great show. I can't even lie.
Shout out to the Schubert front of house staff. They're cool
Yeah,
people.
they're fucking.
Shout out
to
Kenny.
My
Shout
guy
out Kenny.
That's
Kenny.
my guy right there.
Yeah.
He's always really sweet to me.
Are you doing
He's-
any shows as Phil? Like,
Not right now. No, I just don't have time. I
Yeah.
did a few shows, but then like
You're
now
doing
I'm in
8
the
shows a
Hell's
week,
Kitchen.
so,
It's like,
yeah.
bro,
Slay. Well, listen to Phil on Spotify or anywhere you stream your music, and go
Follow
see
me on
Hell's Kitchen
TikTok.
on Broadway. Oh, and follow him on TikTok because he does a really funny series about musical theater.
I do.
That was Glass Sipping. Thank you so much.
That was glass slipping. Thank you so much.